and we are going to starting our teaching today. So today our topic is end value. Um, it will be your assignment 7 will be assigned to you after this one. So the check-in code for today's class is 336, and I think you still have time to do the check-in. If you miss the check-in, please text me. I will fix it for you. Okay. So first of all, the end value is the topic which is more likely using to control your cash flow, because when you're doing your construction projects, you will spend something. You will spend the money to buy the materials. You will spend the money to hire the laborers, and also you will spend the money to rent the equipment, right? And by the meantime, since you with your progress of your project, the owner will pay off you something, right? So the end value is the sense you earn the value from the owner, and also care about your spending in the projects. So that is very important for the project control. So with those background over here, we have some concepts I want to go overview with you guys. Is the budgeted the cost of work performance. So the budgeted is the sense we estimated before we doing this project, right? So we, in this case, the end value is what the budget costs are there for the actually work performance to the dates. Because you gain the money from the owner is all based on your estimates. If you budget for doing ash work for $100 a cubic yard, then if you finish 100 cubic yard, then the owner give you $10,000, right? Based on 100 times 100. So that is all. Your end value is related to your budget, your estimates. So actual cost of your work performance. So that is monitoring both the schedule and the cost. So it's monitoring your work performance and also monitor your actual cost. And your budget cost of work scheduled is by your original schedule. On that day, you will finish 100 cubic yard, then you get 100 times cubic 100 cubic. But unfortunately, you only finish 95, then your gain is only 95 times your unit price, right? So be careful with those BCWP, budget cost work performance, ACWP, actually cost work performance, and the BCWP, which is budget cost work schedule. So all those is in the lecture notes, the PowerPoint slides. So I did not asking you to open this one because I want to go over those calculation or the concepts with before the calculation. I want to go over those concepts with you, right? So I think I did not share the screen. So sorry, Terry. I'm gonna go ahead to share the screen. All right, so now we have the screen share here. So we just reviewed the BCWP, ACWP, and BCWS. So all those is in the PowerPoint slides, okay? So let's take a look in the concept here for the end value. So additional concept like the schedule variance. The schedule variance is what is your schedule between your performed, right? You see here, BCWP is budget cost work performed, and the BCWS is budget cost work schedule, right? So your performance minus your schedule is your schedule variance. And if your schedule variance is more than 0, that means you are ahead of your schedule, right? Because when you compare, everything is based on your budget. But your performance, your actual performance is more than your schedule, then you are ahead of your schedule. If your actually performance is less than your schedule, then you are behind your schedule, right? So make sure you understanding when the SV more than 0 or SV less than 0, what that means. If you look in those time here, so our project is starting from 0 to the end, right? And our cost over here is, so this is your schedule, and this is your actually performance, and the difference over here, that is your schedule difference. And this difference over here is your cost difference, right? So, and this is your time from now, okay? So, then we compared to that one, we have another we call is cost variance. So the cost variance, we compare the budget cost work performance, right? This is performance, and the actual cost work performance. So your performance is the same thing, means you achieve the 95% of your one of your activity or entire project, right? By the same time, your cost, your estimated cost is BCWP, and your ACW is you actually spend that money in that one. So this can be more or can be less than the BCWP. So if you have the CV is more than 0, that means you are under your budget because your actually spending is less than your estimate, right? But if you have CV is less than 0, that means you spend more than your budget, right? So then we have this happen. So that is a two curve over here. You compare the BCWP as well as the ACWP here, and then you will see the difference. This is cost variance. Okay, so so with that, if we put in the two together, and you will see you generally have your end value we call is budget cost work performance, because this is the owner will pay for you based on your work you're performing, right? And then you actually cost the ACWP is here, and that is an example. It's not really like this, okay? And then you have your BCWS like here. So this is an example here to testing you whether you understanding our concept we just performed. So if the actually cost is this one, and your budget cost, your budget cost work performance is that one. So this we call, this is the cost variance. So in this case, the CV is more than right? CV is BCWP minus ACWP. So you have this CV is less than 0, right? That means you are over your budget. You're overspending, right? This is this, okay? But if you're looking for scheduled variance is BCWS, your schedule variance is equal to BCWP minus BCWS. Check here again. BCWP minus BCWS. Your performance is BCWP because this is the end value, is always in the beginning. So then we have the BCWS, and here is BCWP, which is less than 0 as well, right? Then we have our project is under schedule, right? Or we call we are later. So behind the schedule. So we call behind the schedule, okay? Does that make sense to you? So just do those calculations and figure out whether it's more than 0 or less than 0, and compare with this standard here, then you can make a conclusion whether it's under budget or over budget, or it's ahead of your schedule or behind of schedule, right? Okay, so if you end of this, the challenge we have here is actually how to determine the BCWP, BCWS, and ACWP, right? So if that is the case, we will we will soon with our calculation soon. And they have something called as percentage of your schedule variance and the percentage of your cost variance, right? You are using this schedule variance divided by your WBS, and using this CV divided by the BCWP. So make sure this is divided by BCWP is not divided by ACWP or BCWS. It's wrong in the textbook, okay? So with this, we also can drive in the other sense looks like SPI, which is BCWP divided by BCWS. So if you have this, BCWP minus the BCWS is more than 0. That means same thing, this one divided by this one is more than 1. That means you're ahead of your schedule, right? And then you have BCWP divided by ACWP. And if this is more than 1, that means your budget is more than you are under your budget, right? But if you have this one is less than 1, means this BCWP minus ACWP is less than 0. That means you are over the budget, right? So that is kind of like the different vision, how to show the SV and the CV, okay? So with your understanding of this, we will have additional 1 page of your of those concepts, then we are moving to the calculations. So your budgeted cost is the completion, is budgeted cost is the completion, right? That is your original estimated total cost, which is your project estimator. Project cost, right? And you have estimated cost is the computation is EAC, which is using your actual cost of work performance plus your budgeted cost minus the budget cost of work performance. So so that part is your actually work cost. You from the beginning of now you have earned those money, and then you using that one to minus this one because this is scheduled. So using total minus your schedule, then the remaining part you can have in the future. So that is that. And your percentage of computation is using BCWP divided by the BAC. So because your budget cost of your work performance divided by your original estimate, the total, that means you have finished those percentages, right? And also you have a planned percentage computation is your BCWS divided by the BAC. Your budget cost of work scheduled by today is your plan. So all those information, please refer to those when you do the assignment 7, okay, with the calculations. So now we are moving to example here. So this example is same as the example, the Word documents you open with the solutions, right? So let's take a look at this. So for this question is asking you after 3.5 months, we have this is month 1, month 2, month 3. So where is the 3.5 months? Which is in here, right? Am I drawing the correct line over here to represent the 3.5 months? Okay, there is month 1, 2, 3, and the 3.5. Oh, so this is 3.5 months. So if I I'll draw a line over here, and I can put in the documentation here. This is 3.5 months. So based on the schedule, if we reach the 3.5 months, do we have this one done? We have this one done. We have this one done. We have this done. We have this done. We have half of this done, right? Because this is spanning to a whole month 4, that means if we reach 3.5, then we done half of it, right? And this we done half of it, right? And this we done half of it, right? So this is our schedule looks like, right? So our schedule is using to calculate what? Budgeted cost of work schedule. Does that make sense? So our budget cost of work schedule is we finish all the side work, right? We finish all the fencing, we finish all the paving, we finish all the excavation, we finish all the foundation, we finish half of framing, we finish half of the rough electronics, we finish half of the roughing plumbing, right? If we finish half of them, so this box is worth how much dollars? 22,000, right? And this box is worth how much? 10,000. And this box is worth 18, and this is worth 30, and this is worth 50, and this is worth how much? 20K, right? And this is 3K, and this is how much? 8K, right? And you summarize all of them together. That is your budget cost of work schedule. Because when you reach the 3.5 months, you done half of those, and you done the whole sense of here. Could you give me? You can check with the answer you have in your hand is the same number. Tell me the number for the BCWS. BCWS is equal to 161K. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So that is the BCWS. Does that make sense? Is it easy? It's easy, right? Okay, we have the BCWS is 161K. So I'm going to remove this one, okay, because I don't have space. And let's see another one. What is ACWP? Is that one we're going to figure out, right? ACWP. What is ACWP? Actually, cost work performance, right? So we haven't reading this purpose statement yet. We're just reading the first sentence, right? Now we move into the second sentence. After 3.5 months, you incurred a cost of how much? $152,000. And that is you already have this happen. That is actually what performance, right? It's ACWP, right? So you can get ACWP is $152,000. Right. With the two sentences here, you already figure out the key things, right? And the next one is what we're going to do. BCW, we're already here. We already have here. Schedule is already here. Then we have the BCWP, right? The budget cost of work performance, right? The work performance, what is the work performance? Let's take a look at it. So I'm going to remove those because I'm going to updating this project with work performance, okay? I'm using the yellow. So site work, excavation, foundation, fencing, rough electronics work are what? Completed, right? Then we have site work done. We have excavation is here done. We have the foundation here is done. We have the fencing here is done. And we have the rough electronics is done. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter your schedule looks like, but you have this done, completed, right? You may work ahead, you may work delay. Some of them looks like working delay, okay? And we have the framing, paving are half completed. Where is the framing? Framing is here, right? Half completed. So if framing is half completed, it's just the on schedule. Does that make sense? Because it's scheduled in the 3.5 months, it's going to be finished half of it. It's just on schedule. But the paving is only half of them. That means the paving is on the schedule, behind the schedule, right? So, okay, and we have the roughly pumping is how many done? 3/4. Roughly pumping is 3/4, right? Am I doing the 3/4 here? Okay. Do you know how to do the calculation now? So that is equal to sidewalk 22 is all done. And the fencing 10,000 is all done. And the paving is 9K, right? So you can do like this. You can do 18 times 0.5, right? It's the same way, okay? So if you can do 9, then you just put a 9 here. If you don't understanding it, right, you can put a 18K times with half, right? Okay. And then we have excavation is 30K down, right? We have foundation is 15K down. And we have the framing is 20K. It's because 4 times 1.5, right? And then we have a roughly electronic is how much? 6K all done, right? And then we have the roughly plumbing is and the times with 4.75, right? And this will be equal to what? 12. Is that is 12, right? Yes. 12K. So you have those and those. And this is equal to how much? And I have those is for the explanation. So this is equal to how much? We can check the result here. That is equal to 159. 159K. So we have the BCWP is 159K. Now we get all those useful information. Is that correct? Okay. Do you guys have any question over here? Are good with it? Okay, so I'll good with it. Okay, if you have no issue with this, let's keep reading. So I'll go over this one with you, and the next one I'll give you time for practice, okay? Okay. So determine if the project is over or under budget, ahead or behind the schedule, and the percentages on the project completion, right? So whether it's ahead or behind the schedule, that means we are going to determine what? Schedule variance, right? And we are going to determine the cost variance, right? And then asking you the percentages, we are going to determine what? Are we going to determine those 4 cents, right? Mm-hmm. If you agree with this, then we're going to find what is schedule variance. Schedule variance is equal to BCWP minus BCWS. And the cost variance is BCWP minus ACWP, right? So all the beginning is beginning with BCWP minus BCWS minus ACWP. Is that correct? So if that is correct, you have a good memory here, then you will define your BCWP is 159K minus 161K. And this is 159K minus 152K, right? And you will get here is equal to $2,000. And here is equal to $9,000, right? And this actually is a negative two, right? It's a negative $2. So if SV is less than zero, that means you are behind the schedule, right? And if CV is more than zero, you are under the budget, right? Is under the budget. CV is 7. 7 is more than 0, 7K, you are under the budget, right? So that is the CV and the SV. So now we're going to find the percentages. We are looking for percentage of SV and the percentage of CV, right? So you are using 100 divided by, you are using SV divided by BCWS, and you are using CV divided by BCWP, right? So let's go come back here. Is equal to SV divided by what? And here is just flip, right? Okay, SV is divided by BCWS. You see S is S and the C is P, okay? CP are couples, right? So just flip. So I'm going to remove those. I'm going to remove those because I don't have space. So it's divided by B, C, W, P, CP, and S is S. So what's the number here? Here is -2 divided by what? BCWS is 161. And here is CV is 7. 7 divided by BCWP is 159. And you give the number with percentages and give the number with percentages. Since this one is less than 0, that means you are percentage of SV less than 0 is means what? It means what? Means nothing. So when you determine the behind the schedule, ahead of the schedule, or over budget, under budget, you're basically using this one and this one, right? And your percentage over here is just giving you some clue you are behind what kind of, okay? So that's for this sentence. You finish those, right? And the next sentence you have here is your project computation. What is project computation? So let's come back to the here. Your project computation PC is equal to what? Is equal to budget of cost work performance divided by your BAC, right? How to get your BAC? Your BAC is here. Budget cost is BAC, right? Budget cost and computation. BAC is equal to all those together. Does that make sense? And then your project computation is equal to your BCWP divided by BAC. Am I correct? BCWP, your performance, budget cost work performance divided BAC, right? Your BCWP is all those yellow stuff. And which is the number is this one. And your cost total will become from here, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so if that is make sense to you, I'm just go over this one with you. We can come down to the solutions and check if I'm correct. So you have your BCWP, ACWP, BCWS, and the SV and the CV. You have behind the schedule, you are under the budget because those two, right? And the percentages, this is negative and this is positive. And your PC is equal to BCWP divided by BAC. Your BAC over here is all those together. Does that make sense? So if that is makes sense to you, take your time to try to finish this and we'll go over together. So, so this is after 3 months. So you have this one over here. So when you're doing the BCW schedule, that means you are taking those 15. You are taking this 120. You are taking this 18. And you are taking this 200. And you are taking half of this one because you only done half of it, right? And then that's done for your BCWS, okay? It's budget work scheduled. And then if you're doing with BCWP, then you need to read in the sentence here. You have A, B, D. This is A, B, and the D is all completed, right? And for the F, you only have 20. So you work ahead. Here you have 20. And for the C, you only done 18. So you only done those. And for the E, you have 15 done. Sorry, you have 14 done. That means you only done something like here, right? So then you are using those numbers to do the calculations. You will do $15 times 100. So basically you are using $15 here, plus this 120, plus this 18, plus this 200, and then you are 120 is plus what? Is times with what? This is times with what? Times with 14%, right? And this 200 here is actually times with 800, right? 18 percentages. And then you are adding something else. You have this one already done here. Oh, sorry. This is this 18 percentages is going to C, is come to here. Okay. So this is A, B, C, D, and this is E, and you have F. F is 300 times what? 20 percentages, right? So this is your BCWP. Any question? What is your ACWP? Your ACWP is here, $535, right? And then with those, you will be able to calculate your schedule variance, cost variance, your percentage of your schedule variance, percentage of your cost variance, and you have your BAC is summed up together, and then you have your CP, complete percentages is equal to what? BCWP divided by BAC, right? So I'm not going to finish those all the calculation because you already have the solutions over here. Okay? Any question? No, all good with this? So if all good with this, then you have your assignment 7 is already open on the Blackboard. So